Listnr production.
Hey, it's Antoinette with the Weekend Briefing, and my guest today is someone that you definitely know, and there's a good chance you love her. It is Abbie Chatfield, media personality, TV host, presenter, podcaster. And in sitting down with this chat with Abbie, I was like, what can I learn about Abbie that she hasn't already shared on the internet or somewhere else? Because she is that adorable oversharer. And we do get there. We start covering a whole bunch of terrain that I haven't heard her speak about before, including her attitude towards farmers and farming and, crucially, hoeing. Later on in the show, Helen Smith, my fabulous, fabulous producer, joins me to talk through the weekend list. That's where we recommend what to do, watch, see, eat, be, everything in between. And we can't seem to agree about Bridgerton, the latest season. Stick around for that. But first, here's my chat with Abbie Chatfield. Abbie Chatfield, welcome to the Weekend Briefing.
Antoinette Latouche, I'm very excited. I'm kind of nervous to be here with you.
Nervous?
Yeah, because I really respect you as a person, which is so annoying.
Oh, how annoying. And you know what? Since we are such huge brains who are to be respected, I'm going to dive straight in to one of the big issues of the day that really matter. And that is fucking shit lighting in change rooms and in this studio, because that's where we started this conversation. We walked in and we were like, which middle-aged bloke decided this was a good idea?
Yeah, so we're currently in a room with 6 panels of pure cold white downlights.
Yeah.
And in my studio it's the same, and we've had to bring in extra ring lights. Our poor producers, I don't know if your producer's doing it.
Yeah.
They're bringing in extra ring lights, trying to counteract the fact that some middle-aged man decided, they'll love, as long as there's more light, it's better light. Not understanding directional lighting.
And it's not just here. Obviously, this got us talking about lighting and horrendous lighting and what that does to women. And then I was thinking about change rooms, because so often I walk out of a change room and I walk out with body dysmorphia and a pledge to never buy anything again or take my clothes off.
Genuinely, why is every change room a cool down light that just shows every bag, every line, It also, you can't even see the clothes properly, because my boobs, you've big me going, and you've got big titties, Antoinette.
Yeah.
But they kind of
Thank you.
shadow, no worries, they shadow over the rest of the dress, so you can't even really see what's going on with what you're trying on.
Yeah.
And you feel crusty as well, because it's always cool lighting.
And
what's going on there?
Yes, but forget
me.
our self-esteem. I would buy more. It's just not a smart economic decision.
No, but I don't get why they do it. My theory, I was telling you before, was that it forces you, it's kind of like Mortine has been sprayed in there and you're forced to run away from the hideous lighting to go to the normal lighting that's closer to the shop assistants.
No, but if you feel so crap, I'm going to your very well-researched theory.
I think about it every time.
Yeah, I do too. But I just think that it hasn't been, when you just know spaces haven't been designed by women for women. And I just think they haven't actually thought this through, because so often you just go, oh my God, this is hideous. And you take it off. You're not even stepping out into the natural light. You're not going anywhere near the cash register.
True. And you know what's really bad for that? I reckon the worst change rooms in Australia are at Maya.
Yeah, well, they haven't been updated since 87.
It's actually quite worrying. I go in there and I go, has no one been in here? Is it a failing company? What's happening? They don't even have locks in their change rooms. Have you been there recently?
No.
I had to go through 5 different ones at Bondi Junction to find one with a lock.
Yeah, right.
Just to be clear. So Maya,
Look
calling
at us.
you out.
We have just started shitting on the blokes that are making decisions that make us feel crap about ourselves.
I'm over them.
What, don't you want a soft diffuser light? I want whatever light they put over the bold and the beautiful. Have you seen that?
Bit of Vaseline
on everything. I want to go through life believing that's what I look like.
Blurred. But you're so beautiful, Antoinette. So
oh, stop it.
No, you are.
No,
It's
don't.
fucked.
Just keep going. Anyway, so I'm glad we were able to talk about that because, to be honest, sitting down with you, I was like, what can I ask? Like, what can I learn about a chronic oversharer? Like a delicious oversharer, which you are. But I'm like, I know so much about you, including what's your favourite dildo. So
literally, the other day I started the podcast with, I've got thrush, so you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's kind of everyone knows everything that's happening.
Let's then learn a little bit more about your listeners and your followers because obviously you're an absolute hit with Gen Z. A lot of women adore you and look up to you. You know, that tips over into millennials, largely women. Do you have a surprising pocket of followers or fans? And I don't mean dudes who want to bang you or women. Like, I mean, like, just people who you didn't think would.
Well, you know what? I actually don't have many men that want to fuck. Can I swear on the briefing? Great.
Yeah.
They want to fuck me. You know what I mean? I don't have that many. Everyone thinks. And when
Liar.
No, I'm being so serious. I don't get any. The only DMs that I get from men that are flirty are from men like in the industry. Like I don't have random men DMing me. I think they all hate me, which is great for me.
Yeah.
But I really like this. I think the surprising thing for people is that my lack of men do not want to sleep with me. I think men.
No, I'll challenge you on that. I wonder if it's that not that I don't want to sleep with you because I don't also get dudes trying to actually go on LinkedIn. There are a whole lot of corporate dudes who think they're far more impressive than they are, and they're like, "Hey, darling, how's your weekday?" And I'm like, "Look, Recedo hairline. I don't know how you thought this was going to end up, or why you thought picking me up on anyway." So LinkedIn, we're a lot of entitled corporates.
Really,
if you want to be. If you want to be hit on, I'm not suggesting that you do, but I believe on Instagram and TikTok, because you're known as somebody who'll call people out and you own your sexuality, that if someone was a douche, that I reckon they'd be worried that you'd be like, hey, don't send me a picture of your penis, you know?
Yeah, which I wouldn't
exactly.
I? So their fears are founded.
But that's what I think part of it is.
But I also think that a huge part of it is that being in the public eye or being successful as a woman isn't attractive to men in the same way that it is attractive to women, to men. Like my boyfriend and I were talking about how musicians, like, there's that stigma, quote unquote, I guess, in the extreme version of the word. There's an idea that musicians are like bad boyfriends, they're bad partners, or they're just pieces of shit and like never date a musician, never date an actor. And he was like, I don't get it because like there are pieces of shit in every field. And I said, well, the issue is that when men, he's like, well, why isn't it the same for women, like female musicians? Like, why do you think that's a different outcome of their fame or their creativity or whatever? And I was like, well, because when women become successful musicians, their fan bases usually are mainly women because men refuse to accept that women can be talented. But also men don't enjoy, they're quite competitive with their partners, I think, deep down. Yeah. And they don't like the thought of a woman being more successful or more in the spotlight, even if they aren't like Taylor Swift level.
Right.
They can't handle that. Whereas men are able to have more access to more quote unquote fans because women don't have the same competitiveness with their partners and they can admire something in a man without making it seem like it's something less about themselves. So therefore men have more access and therefore they have their egos blown up as well and they become pieces of shit to people that they sleep with. What do you think?
I think that makes sense. I think also successful women would be intimidating. So I don't, I think your pool base would be smaller.
Yeah.
And then even those who think that they do want to be with you probably don't realise that they're not okay or that they would struggle with somebody who's so in the public eye and successful.
Yeah, I think so. I also think that like, I don't think I fucked a random person in years anyway. But yeah, I don't really get many DMs, people trying to sleep with me. I feel like I do get some, actually hang on, maybe this is them trying to get in. I do get DMs from straight men being like, I listened to your podcast, and because I always say like, no straight men listening, so what's the point? Like when I'm ranting about men's violence. I go, who the fuck am I even talking to? Who am I talking to? But I do get DMs from men being like, essentially like, I'm a good one, you know?
Right.
And I go, great, I love that. But it's cute. It is sweet. It is nice that they're listening. So I think that's surprising. But it is mainly women. Another surprising and nice demographic is mums of 20-ish-year-old women.
Yeah. Okay.
Or of young girls. Like there was one mum that I saw up in the Northern Rivers when I was going to get pizza, and she was with these two girls coming home from soccer practice. And she got teary saying how happy she is that the young girls, who would have been like 9 and 10.
At the age of my daughters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being like, I'm so glad they have you to look up to. They love you. We love you from the Masked Singer. So that's nice that from the Masked Singer, I've gotten like the mums and also the preteen to like 20-year-old women. That's a really nice, genuinely heartwarming interaction that I have. So that's beautiful.
Yeah, that's probably something you didn't necessarily anticipate because that's a different audience to your podcast listeners.
Yeah, and I think Masked Singer and I'm a Celeb has made that happen, but I'm like, I'm also like, are the kids being monitored when looking at my... I'm going, love you, making sure they're not looking at the butt plug how to's, you know?
Yeah, like lovely to meet you, don't follow me on Instagram.
Yeah, I'm like just, don't follow me, but come to my page every so often and see if it's okay.
Well, you just mentioned a couple of reality TV shows, I'm a Celeb, and also Masked Singer, but of course The Bachelor is where we all got to know you. And I wonder, like, given that with Farmer Wants a Wife, there's 16 couples still together. It's the most successful relationship. Almost all of them are still together.
What?
16 of them. So did you miss your reality love coupling and the chance to harvest hay?
I mean, the furthest west that I'd been before, like last year, was Newtown. So, like,
oh my God! Stop it! I'm a Western Sydney girl, and so you didn't even make it as far out to the mean suburbs of Maryland.
No, I didn't. Well, I'm from Brisbane, so to be fair, I moved to Sydney, but even then, if any Brisbane listeners, Indooroopilly was probably the furthest west that I'd been. I'm not like a country girl. I was raised.
You're not even a suburban girl.
No, suburbia, but like north, like.
Oh, is that where you're from in Brisbane?
Yeah, in Brisbane,
right.
like north suburbia, because in Brisbane it more goes up and down rather than the west. West is bougie.
Yeah, okay.
In Brisbane.
Okay.
I think. People might disagree with me. I think in my mind it's bougie coming from the north. But I feel like I grew up with a single mum who literally wears pink lipstick every day to the point where I think her lips are stained with pigment. We never even, the word camping wasn't even said in my household. It was like blasphemy. Right. So I don't think that I would survive on a farm. I think even when I go to my house in the Northern Rivers, which is in a town 10 minutes from Byron.
Yeah. It's like fake rural.
Yeah, but I don't know if you can even call it rural because it's like I walk down to Four Cafe. Yeah, fake regional.
Yeah.
It's still technically regional, but I do say to people, I'm like, I'm living regional, guys. I'm on my property, quote unquote, 800 square meters, and I'm like, it's pretty crazy. I've got a lot of gardening to do. Like it's just.
Do you garden?
No, I've got a gardener.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, I do sometimes. Mum got me a hoe for Christmas 2 years ago.
A what?
A hoe to.
It's a gardening instrument.
Yeah, like ones
okay,
that
I didn't know what that was. Okay,
ones that the Seven Dwarfs have.
Yes,
so Mum and I spent like a few days hoeing the garden, but yeah, I don't think that I could cope on Farmer Wants a Wife. I barely coped in The Bachelor, and we were in French's Forest. I was going, this is crazy.
This is far too foresty.
Yeah, I grew up like we did not, and not in like a money way, in like a why would we.
Where is everyone?
Yeah, but why would I willingly go and like live on like camp or like make my life harder?
I don't think people camp necessarily because they're married to farmers. But all right, you go with that.
But I think they do, babe. I reckon they do. Sorry, I reckon there's a Venn diagram of like people that camp, people who want to marry a farm. They love the outdoors, and I wish that I did.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I'm a Celebrity, get me out of here. I did think I could camp, and then I got home and never did it again.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough.
You know, are you a farmer girl?
No. But I do think it's lovely that these relationships have stayed. I don't know what the secret is, like, isolation.
Isolation, I think.
No, I mean, that's really mean. I don't know. But I mean, they're together and there's babies and that's lovely.
They're kind of living like it's 1952. You know what I mean? Like it's like these are the options put in front of you on the show.
Yeah.
Choose one of them and then you're on the isolated farm together.
Yeah, but
you got to make it work.
Right, but you could always leave. That's what I'm saying. They've obviously decided to stay. So there's something about that life that is working. Anyway,
so true.
If this current relationship doesn't work for you, I'm just going to recommend a couple of farm stays. I'm just going to... You take your hoe, pack your hoe.
And I'll go, I'm ready. No, but I would actually be a hindrance on the farm. I admire them.
I don't know that they're going to expect you to be out in the fields. I'm
you
not
reckon?
sure. I mean, look, let me make some inquiries.
I feel like we just want to clarify before Abbie comes to the farm. Does she have to do anything?
How many cafes are within walking distance? How many hoes do you need?
I actually don't know how people do it. It's crazy. They don't get a day off, Antoinette. If they're sick, they have to still go out to the cows. Do you know that? I think about that every day. Well, if I'm tired, I go, if I was a farmer, I'd have to go out and put some seeds down or something.
Mm-hmm. Put some seeds down.
Never been to a farm. Never been to a farm in my life. I'm being serious. I don't think I've ever been to a farm. Whoa.
Well, I think, challenge. There's a challenge for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fuck. I've just realised that I've literally never been to a farm. I don't know what they do every day. All I know is the cows and the farmers are to blame for lack of daylight savings in Queensland.
Sure. I mean, I like the only thing you know is something to blame farmers for. It's nice. It's nice. Okay. I don't want you to be offended by this question, so hear me out.
Won't.
So as clever and funny and cool as you are, do you reckon you'd be as successful if you weren't a freaking babe? And I don't mean that to be all like sour grapey. I mean, I did ask my producers to like you badly so I could have an advantage.
It's fair enough.
But like pretty privilege is a thing. And that seems to mainly apply to women because you can look and be whatever age and size if you're a man and still be successful. But it's so harder as a woman.
Oh, absolutely. I think that I wouldn't have gotten on The Bachelor because The Bachelor haven't cast anyone beyond a size 10, maybe a 12, I don't know, but beyond standard sizing. I'm also white and I'm private school educated. So, yeah, I absolutely wouldn't have even gotten on the show, I don't think. I mean, when we look at the casting of reality TV in Australia, I mean, it's getting better. I mean, F-Boy Island, not to plug our show, but like I think it's like 35% people of colour.
Yeah.
So the casting is getting better.
Yeah.
But at the time,
but
I think
aren't they usually the people, like I found that even in the UK Bachelor, they were casting people of colour, like South Asian people. They got sent home even before you knew their names.
Yeah. Well, we actually last year had, I think, 4 out of the 6 finalists were men of colour.
Okay.
I think. But no, they weren't sent home early.
Right.
And also, but I agree, on most shows, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I don't know, what do you think? I actually don't know what that is. I genuinely don't know. And I've thought about this a lot as to why are we casting people to send them home early? I know the answer is tokenism.
Yeah.
I know that.
Yeah.
But why, I don't know why we aren't allowing people that aren't thin, white,
able-bodied, all the rest.
quote unquote. I don't know why we're casting them if we're just going to get rid of them after a couple of weeks. Because that's also what is called out as well.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, no, I don't think that I would get as far if I didn't look the way that I did, if I wasn't white, if I wasn't private school educated. Because I also think that Australia is such a, racist country and a very kind of shallow in ways.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that our media landscape is really shallow. I think that how I present myself and how I look and like the background that I've had in life, like growing up in Brisbane with like a middle class single mom, but went to a private school. I have access to a lot of different worlds, if that makes sense. And I'm palatable a bit. It's kind of like that.
Until you open your mouth.
Until I talk. Do you mean? But maybe it's like, oh, she seems normal. And they go, she's actually a bit strange. But you know what I'm saying? I think that maybe there's like, I'm a blank canvas of like people know someone maybe that has a similar background to me so they can project onto me good or bad things. But yeah, I think that pretty privilege plays a lot in even just in casting or even how people get jobs. And I guess beyond casting on The Bachelor, I don't think that I would be, it's going to sound wanky, favoured by like male executives.
No, I think these things are, like when it comes to privilege, it's just about acknowledging it, not feeling guilty about it, but it's like, this is what it is and I'm going to leverage it and I'm going to use it to amplify voices of others, which you do, but I don't think there's any danger in, I think it's actually great to acknowledge what privilege you have and just to be aware of it, because so many people see it as like a dirty word, and I'm like, it's not a dirty word.
No, it's not. I feel like pretty privilege though is hard to talk about because you go, and yeah, I'm really hot.
Well, I mean, I think it's, you know, and in the media, and, you know, I work in the media, and I know looks plays a role, particularly for women. Like, it's unfortunate, but that's the way it is. It's how you get jobs on TV, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think men are personality first cast and women are looks first. And also, I'm not saying that male executives have ever been creepy to me or ever weird to me, just to be clear. But I think that even subconsciously, it's like, oh, we want someone young and hot to host this show. We want someone. It's also funny that a lot of my manager and I laugh a lot about the way that I'm spoken about to him by execs or like casting agents or even just to brands, when they describe me as bubbly and we go, I'm the furthest, I'm like a negative, pessimistic.
I mean, bubbly's a nice descriptor. Usually it's like, you know, polarizing or controversial or like those words, but you're saying in person.
Well, I'd rather be called polarizing than bubbly. I think bubbly is like taking how I look, like, oh, she's got, well, I used to have bigger tits, but like she's got big tits and like curly hair, she must be bubbly. I think it's like, oh, like she's loud and a woman and has big tits and curly hair and they've never engaged with any of my content or listened to anything that I've done. Right. And they go, she's bubbly. And because I'm funny, they go, oh, she's bubbly because women are laughing with her. And it's like.
Well, they're not laughing. Yeah. They're not in on the
yeah. So it's interesting that like, in that way, which I also think is more palatable to them, and that's adding to the pretty privilege of why I would get chosen for roles because they see me as non-threatening. Whoa, actually.
Yes.
It's an epiphany, Antoinette.
Oh, that's true though.
Because she's bubbly, she's cute, like she'll laugh with us. And when I meet them, I'm really lovely to them because like it's a normal interaction with a person. But I'm not, I think they think that I'm bubbly and therefore not threatening. And it's easier for them to be like.
And that's what they want. They still want palatable, easy to digest, easy to look at women. And
then I cause them problems when they try to put through fucked up shit.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, but I mean, I guess it's the getting through the door and then managing that. And I mean, in terms of how women are seen, I can't help but have to raise the jerks who love to target and harass women and write lots of articles about everything they do, say, where. How do you manage it?
Oh, it goes in waves. I don't know if you feel the same. It's sort of like sometimes I get to a point where I'm really exhausted by it and really frustrated by it and I feel really, really trapped, almost sort of stuck. And then I'll have a cry and then talk to my friends or my therapist or rant on the podcast and then I'll feel fine again. Then it will build up again and again and again. So I think I actually do enjoy when places like Sky News call me, you know, sinister is an iconic thing that they called me once. Because then I go, oh, I'm doing the right thing. Yeah. But it is frustrating when bullshit articles in the Daily Mail or news.com are just exaggerating parts of my life to make me seem like I'm off the rails or like a woman who is going to speak her mind in this way must be off the rails and must be mentally deranged, you know? Like there was that article saying that I lost $500,000 to my addiction. Yeah. Do you see this? And it was just that
that could have been spent on good lighting.
And that's the thing. If I had that money, my addiction is good lighting. My addiction is good. I'm going, guys, okay, you're right. No, but so I just said in passing on the podcast, and at the time I said the Daily Mail are going to use this.
And they did.
And I was like, I have like a work addiction. And they took that as then I quit radio, but I'd already kind of quit radio in my head.
Yeah,
and
right.
Then it was you've lost this money, but that isn't even the right number regardless. But the point of that is like, oh, like it's so easy for them to say like she's so unwell or like and it's just untrue or defamatory or both. Yes. And you just got to cop it. Like, oh, I mean, I don't know, it's really hard. How do you deal with it?
I mean, I go in waves where, you know, I've got a couple of defamation lawyers on speed dial in my phone and sometimes I get really ramped up and I'm like, they can't just get away with this. They keep doing it because they know that they can. And I'm like, am I going to go down the defamation route? It's really expensive. It takes years. And then I'm like, no, I can't be bothered.
That's how I feel, which is sad because it's right. Should we do a class action? Can we do that against the Daily Mail?
Something, because I mean, they'll just keep doing it.
They do the fine line. And it's also things like, oh, well, it's, I don't know if you feel the same way. I go, oh, well, it's one article, who gives a fuck? But then when it's 15 million articles.
Yes, but they're read a lot because also they don't have paywall. So news.com.au and Daily Mail are shared and viewed a lot. So often I'm like, oh, that's crap. That's got no integrity. Nobody believes it. I'm like, they just lie. And, you know, if it's not just embellishments, it's outright defamatory, saying stuff about our character that, you know, you're unstable or you have addictions or you're whatever.
One time there was an article saying that I was bedridden. And it was like, it was a photo of me yawning, walking my dog. And it was like, Abbie Chatfield leaves the house after saying she's bedridden. And I was like, I've never said that I'm bedridden.
Yeah.
Like, but like, what's the implication there? You know, and like, what's, I guess the point of that is to say that I'm not listening to doctor's orders, or that, like, what's the point in making that up?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I almost feel like if more women were to take defamation action, or I feel like we need a collective to be like, no, we're not going to stand for this, and you're going to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars in damages. But that takes a huge toll on you to go through that process. So I don't know. So that's how I manage it. I just flick it off sometimes. Then I call a defamation lawyer. Then I do nothing, and then rinse, repeat, recycle. You know, go through that cycle again.
And then you have to kind of detach from it. But then when you detach from it, then my anger comes back in a big block, if that makes sense. I go, you know what? Like you were saying, you know what? It's too expensive. It's too hard. I'm not going to bother with it. I just won't retaliate. I won't post about it. I won't speak about it. And then something else happens, like the addiction article. And I go, what the fuck? Like, you guys are constantly at me for no fucking reason.
Yes.
Like, I'm just existing.
Just existing.
I'm just trying to say that I have a bit of a work addiction, and you've now made it so much bigger than it needs to be. And it's really fucking exhausting. But I don't know what to do about it.
I'll share a couple of defamation lawyers I have.
Please, genuinely. We should do a class action. We should get all the women in this country who have been fucked by news.com and Daily Mail and just like see what we can do.
Enough.
It's fucked.
Okay, well, watch this space. Before I leave you, I do want to finish up by asking, if you were to have a dinner party with any three people, dead or alive, who would they be and what cocktail will you be serving?
Oh my God, this is really stressful. Oh my God, Antoinette, I hate this question.
Okay, well, have a think.
Dead or alive? Well, obviously the cocktail would be a Southside. That's easy.
Okay,
Have you ever had a Southside?
No.
Oh my God, gin, mint, lime, simple syrup, shaken, double strained in a coupette.
Southside.
Lovely.
Okay, you've got that. Now you just need your guests.
Do they have to be famous?
No, they can be anybody.
Oh, my grandma?
Yeah. That's nice.
Carmel,
Yeah.
because she's dead, selfishly. Oh my God, Antoinette, this is really hard.
Like, who are your idols growing up?
I want Miley Cyrus there.
Yeah, cool.
I want Miley Cyrus there really badly.
Okay.
I think she's really interesting.
Nana, Miley Cyrus.
Yeah, which is an interesting combination.
Yeah.
And who's left? Who else do I love? This is crazy. I actually don't know. Isn't that so bad?
Well, like you were Whitney Houston. I don't know, I'm just throwing names out there.
No, see, the thing is, I grew up listening to like Savage Garden
I had the biggest crush on Darren Hayes. I'm still devastated that he's
Darren,
gay.
Darren, my king. I feel like, who do I want to have a conversation with though? Who do I love? Can I say my best friend?
I mean, she'd have fun with Nana and Miley Cyrus. I was hoping you'd say me, but that's all right.
Oh, Antoinette.
Abby. It's
Antoinette,
okay.
you can come as well. Okay. You can have my spot.
I'll make the cocktails.
Yeah, make the cocktails.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll serve everyone. I actually don't know. That's a really hard question because I try to not like idolize people or like, I'm not really like a huge fan of anyone.
No, okay.
Scissor.
Yes.
Scissor.
Okay,
Holy
so are we getting rid of Nana?
Getting rid of, no, I think we're getting rid of my best friend. Sorry, Kat.
Okay, that's right,
I think
Kat.
it's my grandma, Scissor and Miley Cyrus because Heavy Control is my favourite album of all time. I listen to it start to finish most days.
There we are.
Obsessed. So Scissor, she's actually in Australia right now, so I might see if she's to hang out.
We'll try and make this happen.
Yeah.
Love chatting with you, Abby. Honestly, I think getting those people at a dinner party with cocktails is likely to happen before Maya sorts out its light situation.
Get grandma's ashes in the corner.
The wonderful, the fabulous, the fierce, the always funny Abbie Chatfield. You can catch her also on Listnr's podcast, It's a Lot. And I think it's safe to say that Abbie won't be shacking up with a farmer or moving anywhere regional anytime soon. It is time for the weekend list. Helen Smith is in the studio to inform your eyeballs, your taste buds, what to do with your bodies. Helen, what are your recommendations?
All right. My first recommendation is the new season of Bridgerton. Mm-hmm. You know how the first half has dropped. It's released. I binged it all.
Yes. How quickly?
A few days.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. Well, I got to do what you got to do.
Yep.
I just couldn't stop. But
without any spoilers, what did you love about it?
I just loved knowing more about Penelope, because she's just always been a fascinating character. Mm-hmm. Obviously, we all know she's whistled down. That was from last season. Yeah. And I was like, damn, like, go girl, like, didn't think that was coming.
Yep.
So I just think she is a bit of a trailblazer doing her own thing. She doesn't fit the mold.
Yeah.
And I just want her to have love.
Well, I guess that's the theme with every season. You're just like rooting.
There's not much else going on.
You're rooting for them to root, essentially.
Yeah, literally.
That's all we want to happen. See, my recommendation was also Bridgerton, but like, don't watch it.
No.
Because I find this season was a letdown. Well, so far, a bit of a letdown.
What did you not like?
I don't buy the dynamic. So obviously each season...
No, but he was a nerd before. Don't you remember?
No, I know. But like every season is pegged on one couple and one courtship at the centre.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was like horny as every
With
season.
the Duke, do you remember that?
Yeah. And I'm like, this one's not getting me horny. You know?
Because it hasn't really started that much. You haven't finished it though, have you?
No, I've got like 4 episodes
wait till the
in.
last episode. I don't think it's going to get you as horny as the Duke. But
yeah, right. And maybe, look, this is not how film and TV critic works, about as in the level of horniness.
Maybe not.
The level of horniness. But anyway, so I'm not buying their chemistry so far.
Okay.
But let's see. Maybe it's a slow burn.
Well, yeah.
We have the same recommendations, just on other ends. What else do you have in store?
My second recommendation is going to more theatre shows and plays to support the arts. Like theatre shows, you know, they can be pricey, but I've had a quick look around some Melbourne and Sydney places where they have 30s under 30 tickets.
Yeah,
they have a cheap Thursday or weekend rush tickets for like $30, $35.
For someone who's not under 30, how do they...
You can do 30 or 35 on the rush
But
times.
how do they do it? Do they look at your driver's license, or it's
This
just an
is
honesty
the other
system?
thing.
Because I've been told I've got very good skin, so I wonder if I just go for 30 under 30.
Look, I mean, you could try, and then
Has anyone checked your age at the door?
they haven't, but I look like a child.
Yes, you
so
do.
No one has ever checked.
I'm going to try, and they'll be like, "Hey, Cougar, show us your
Hey, that's a MILF. Let them in. No, but anyway, I actually saw my friend Lawrence in Switzerland at the Ensemble Theatre. It's about the best-selling author Patricia Highsmith. So this is the Mr. Ridley series. And he was amazing. He's toured the Mousetrap nationally. He's just a great actor. Went to NIDA and everything. And yeah, that is on till the 8th of June if you're in Sydney. But otherwise, Sydney Theatre Company, they do $30 tickets on a Thursday morning if you're in Sydney. New Theatre in Newtown.
Yeah, great theatre.
20 to 40.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
And then Melbourne Theatre Company do $35 weekend rush tickets.
Nice.
So if you're looking around your areas, I'm sure there's going to be a deal on a theatre company or a smaller theatre near you. And I just think it's a great thing to do. Support the arts. Since COVID, since everything's kind of back to normal now, but I still think, you know, if you can...
Yeah, great
Go
idea.
see a theatre show. Get off your screen.
Yeah, love that. My final recommendation is probably look at your screen a little bit more.
Okay.
But not in the way you're thinking. So I went through my credit card bill, which I don't routinely do. I did it for tax purposes to have a look at what my expenses are. And I noticed one particular taxi ride, which I don't know how I tapped and approved the fare. The fare, wait for it, was $3,217.
How?
I don't know.
How did you not notice that?
And the best is the fair was in February. So it wasn't that it was like just something that happened 24 hours ago. And my jaw dropped. So clearly the taxi driver, when he was putting it in, forgot a decimal point because it was
You'd hope.
It should have been 32 point whatever, $32.17. Anyway, so my recommendation is not to go on a very expensive taxi ride, but instead I fear with tapping and going, oh, do you want a receipt? No. I don't know about you, but half the time I don't even look at what I'm tapping at.
See, I do because I don't leave money in that account. I transfer it over every time.
Well, that's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
But do you check Coles? Because now I've started
Sometimes I do.
Yes.
I also check when I scan because I'm a tight ass.
Yeah, that's
so
good.
I'm
I
like,
like that
budget. I'm like, that was actually on special for $2.50, not $3.99.
Yeah,
like,
good. I like that though. Well, it's sensible. So my recommendation is pay more attention to your receipts, go through them, even at when you go out for dinners. Like I went out with some friends for some cocktails and they charged us like double the amount of cocktails we and I paid it because I just tapped and I had a couple of cocktails. So I ended up having to call them up and say, hey, this bill is because this bill is way too much. Anyway, so that is my recommendation. Save some money by not being a mindless idiot like I have been and just tapping. And thankfully I contacted the cab company and they have issued me a refund.
Thank God for that.
Thanks so much, Helen. That is it for this week. If you want more from us, you can head over to the Listnr app, wherever you get your podcasts from. You can follow us there, subscribe, and why not give us a rating for this wonderful chat with Abbie Chatfield. And if you're feeling super generous, you can review and rate every episode. We'll be back on Monday morning where the team will have the latest headlines straight to your headphones along with some interesting interviews. Stay safe, everyone. Catch you next week.
Listnr.